on.
It's on?
It's on.
It's 84, podcast 84.
84.
April 16th.
77 degrees outside.
It is
sunny.
77 degrees. 5:13.
Do you have new? Oh, no.
Oh, yeah, I got a whole fucking another one. These are still from yesterday.
You grabbed the wrong ones? This is the order.
No.
Oh, I thought you had some orders.
Note, dude, put in here. We actually shipped his order already. How's it going, fellas? Minimum wage is $7.70 in Arizona when I left in 2015. I listen to the podcast when I'm at work and write down the things I want to reply to. Then, when I get home, I hop on YouTube to comment. Love the podcast. Keep it up. Thanks, Brian Lucas.
And keep making them comments. Keep bringing them in.
What's work? And where did you, when you left Arizona, where'd you go, man? You did say Arizona, right? Yeah, Arizona. Mm-hmm. I also took home economics class, and we did all the basic shit. Cooking, balancing a checkbook, basic sewing, and so on. I wish I would have been better educated on credit. I think a high school level course on credit with an option to get a prepaid credit builder with the parents' approval would actually be something to prepare people for life. I'm 27, started building my credit at 25. Man, I wish I would have known what I know now and had an extra 8 years of credit history. They're not going to teach you anything about credit, because if they did, you wouldn't be going in fucking debt going to college. Their job right now is not... Originally, public school was to indoctrinate you and get you on a schedule, to get you to work on time, to take breaks when the bell went off, to eat all together at a certain time. It was to prepare you for factory work, for line work. And that's no longer the case. Now their job is to indoctrinate you into whatever politics they want you to believe, and to tell you that your job is to go to school some more, and just go into debt. And most people won't have that debt paid off at age 40, and many of them don't have it paid off at age 50. So they're not going to teach you about, smart economics and credit like that, because you would open your eyes and see through their bullshit. Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
Nothing to add to that?
I mean, I'm just trying to weigh the pros and cons of, would it be beneficial to credit companies to teach high school students how to use a credit card?
Fuck no, it wouldn't.
If you're, let's say you're, who's the fuckers that give what was your first credit card?
I don't know. Chase, Capital One, I don't know.
Capital One. I think it's Capital One. So Capital One, I'm pretty sure Capital One was my first credit card, and they had a thing where you put $300 in the bank.
So a secured card.
Yeah. And then you get to run off that secure card. Imagine how much money you would instantly create. Imagine how much money you would instantly create if you said, hey, if you're Capital One, we have a program to teach kids how to use a credit card. If you deposit $100 in this bank account, we will issue this credit card that has $100 balance on it and teach a class on how to use it, right? If you think about every kid in the United States, or just roughly every high school student, suddenly puts $100 into Capital One's banks, in 24 hours, just, you know what I'm saying? They deposit that money goes in there. Even if all the kids take out their $100, banks don't make their money based off of monthly dues. They make it off the minutes. So I put $1 billion in that bank, that I send it over to Hong Kong, they play with it for a minute, it comes back here, it's fucking $2 billion. I don't know, it might be a pretty good scam for a credit card company.
But they're not making their money off of people paying credit cards. They're making their money off of loaning debt and buying debt. It's all, they don't, that money doesn't exist.
Right.
That they're playing with. I got what you're saying. There'd be a couple of issues with it. Fiduciary responsibility of a minor, so it would have to be
your parents would have to be signed. They'd have to sign for it.
Yeah, it's cool.
I see. Hey, if you work at Wells Fargo, I bet you could make $1 billion providing that service.
Again, your point is bang on. You're a busy man. Back in 2010, when I'd been made redundant and I'd been made redundant, I got onto government help plan. Basic help with CVs, job interviews, and such. The one piece of advice we were given that stuck in my mind was about CVs. The man basically said just what you've said about how busy business owners are. When you send your CV to a company, what is CV? What the fuck are we talking about?
I don't know.
When you send your CV to a company, it has to be short and to the point and correct, as the person at the company reading all the CVs does not have the time to fanny about reading horse shit or long-winded CVs. They have a mountain of CVs to check, and badly spelt, badly represented, overblown CVs just get binned.
Credit.
Soon after that, I was speaking with a lady from a work agency, and she told me one of her previous employers would throw away without reading any email they received with second-class stamps. Great video. Oh yeah, I could totally see that. My mom worked at a court. She was a court, I don't know what the fuck she did, secretary to the judge or whatever. And they would come into court, and from chambers, they could see out in the court. And the judge would ask the ladies, do you think that guy looks guilty, or do you think he looks not guilty? And they would fucking base their decision right there on what them women say that they were flirting with. That dude's fucking life would be decided right there before the judge ever took the stand.
What a way to get pussy.
The CV or resume here, or resume here in the U.S.
Oh, CV must
gets
be
you the interview,
English.
not the job. Not necessarily, man. We hire a lot of times off of just talking back and forth. Like if you contact us and want, like we say we need some guys, right? So dudes reach out and hit us up through email. If you don't have a Facebook page, we're not fucking hiring you at this point. Like if you don't have social media, because except this one, every fucking...
I have social media.
Not you.
Oh, I thought you pointed at me.
Bill.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
And time will tell on Bill. But every dude we've hired that has some sketchy fucking story about why he doesn't have social media has literally been a fucking a school tower shooter, or I mean literally think about it. If you said which of our employees are most likely to run up and fucking in a bell tower and just start shooting fucking people, boot camp.
I was immediately going to go to Casper,
boot camp. Fuck, I mean, there's like a half a dozen of them. Every one of them, because they have Facebook pages. They just have shady shit out there that they know. Like you can tell, you pretty much know what the fuck's going on here by my almost 9 years of history of Facebook. Like for a dude that wants to work here and doesn't know shit about us, like we had a dude come in. I had run some Facebook ads for employees for sewers. We had a dude come in here looking for the sewer job.
Yeah, the sewer job. He was actually...
He had no fucking clue what we did. Didn't have any fucking idea.
Looking for the sewer job.
But so we had another dude came in with like a 20-page resume.
That happens every now and then.
Yeah. 20-page resume. Supervisor this. Head of team that. Blah, blah, blah. And we're like, dude, you're applying for a job picking up dog shit. Like literally. Picking up dog shit, cutting threads, tracing patterns, like literally what fifth graders do. It's amazing we can't get an adult to do it with some kind of speed. The crew we have right now is really good. But these dudes come in here with fucking $100,000 job here, fucking $72,000 job here, fucking $180,000 job here. Why the fuck do you want to come work here? What that tells us is there's something fucking wrong with you, and every fucking time there has been something wrong with one of those guys.
I would say, when you're talking about doing a resume and shit, that's definitely, if you're trying to be a VP at Chase Manhattan Bank, you're going to need a stacked resume because there are people that are actually going to look at your bona fides that are going to be in there, whether or not you qualify to be there. Where does that word come
from, bona fides? What
Probably
does that fucking even
French means it means having your
ducks in a row.
Yeah, kind of ducks in a row, but it's your...
You brush your teeth.
Yeah, did you brush your teeth?
You floss.
Same stuff
bona
like
fide
that.
Means the same thing.
But persistence is the best way. I feel like if you want to work for fucking Bezos, you want to be his private secretary, you'd be out and standing in his parking lot every morning, and when he pulls in and says "fuck you," just get the suit back on, show up the next morning. Eventually, Bezos is going to be like,
"We got a dude who's been working here over 10 years right now. They came and asked for a job every Monday morning, and I told him I don't have anything right now. Check back in a couple of weeks. Every Monday morning. It was snowing, and he walked to work. He walked to ask for a job on Monday morning because his battery in his car was dead. But he still came every Monday. I wasn't telling this dude to do this. I was kind of hoping he would just go away. And then he showed up riding a lawnmower. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing on the lawnmower? Well, I took the battery... The battery didn't have enough juice to start the car,
but it started
the lawnmower. And I'm like, this motherfucker, if he wants this job this bad, he's at least going to show... If he showed up fucking 20 weeks in a row asking for a job, he's at least going to fucking show up to the job. And he has. He's been here fucking 10 years. But we didn't have a position for him. I first taught him to sew. And then we got busier and busier and needed more marking and cutting and all kinds of shit. And he's here. He's been here. It was just the persistence.
If you're going to, that's why I say just persistence. I think that's the biggest part. A lot of times when people do resumes, they do like, I'm going to do 25 resumes and just fire and forget. If you really want a job somewhere, you need to be persistent with that application, even when they tell you no. Because you might not get the job you want. Maybe you wanted to be Bezos' personal secretary, but he's like, I got a spot in the mailroom. Just go fucking kick ass in the mailroom and make sure he never forgets that you're working there.
Some jobs more than no job, that's for sure. And a lot of times, we just need to know that we can fucking trust you. Like, right now, we were down here, doing this fucking podcast. Amanda's somewhere in the building. We don't know where. There is shit all over the building. You could easily fucking pick up $20,000 worth of shit and walk out the door just in your arms. A lot of it's just about knowing you and trusting you and knowing just that, when we turn our backs, you're still fucking working. You're not stealing. You're not doing stupid shit. You're not going to, something as simple as fucking, we have these hot knives we use, right? And these guys want to put rubber bands around them. I can't tell you how many times, like literally over 24 times I have come in on a Saturday and that fucking hot knife has a rubber band around it and it's still running. They have fucking safeties in them, but when that motherfucker gets hot enough in that plastic and it doesn't blow the fucking fuse and that plastic melts and causes a fire, the building burns down over something as simple as that. It's just little shit like that.
The other thing, if you're planning on getting a job that requires a resume, find a real dude that makes resumes. Don't go on fucking resumes.com and type your resume out. Find a real dude that does resumes specifically for the job you're looking for, because he's gonna find things that you're either omitting or things that you are putting too much credence on that's going to affect whether you're going to be able to get that job. I have a really good friend who's like, well, he's a judge now, but he went to the number one law school, graduated really good, and then was applying to, after he was, at the year before you get out of law school, you apply to the places you want to work. And he actually hired a dude to do the resume. And he's, he does his own resume, but then here you go, take a look at it and figure it out. Well, he omitted some stuff in his past that the guy was like, why didn't you talk about any of this? And he goes, well, it doesn't have anything to do with...
He was a Marine Corps sniper.
He goes, it doesn't have anything to do with what I'm going to do. And he goes, no, you need to put this in here. Well, anyways, he puts it in there. And he got accepted to the number 2 firm in California. So he was working for the number 2 firm in California underneath, like one of the heavy hitter partners, a female attorney there, but working for her. And he just got there. So, when you just get there and you're an associate, all you do is run around and fucking find case law and shit like that, and give it to the lawyer. Those lawyers the real lawyers aren't really doing that. They got serfs to do that. And so, but the minute he got there every fucking meeting, every meeting she had where there was more than fucking 4 people in the room, she would go get John and have him sit in the corner. I don't know why I said his name, but have him sit in the corner in a chair. And he would just sit there. And for the longest time, he didn't know why. But she'd be like, I'm letting you all know I have a sniper. That's my sniper right there.
Yeah.
So you just never know what's going to be you need in your resume that's going to get you over.
Again, your point is bang on. You're a busy man. The CV or resume here in the U.S. gets you the interview, not the job. I do all the hiring at my job, and I agree that certain resumes or applications just get tossed because some idiot can't even spell the job he or she is applying for. We have applications pre-printed and on our website for people to fill out. Recently, someone handed in what was basically a printed 8.5 by 11 with 2 columns and enough random size rows to fill the paper, in which he put what he thought anyways, all pertinent info. The problem was his handwriting was pretty much unreadable. While on the subject, if you are looking for a job, make sure 1, your voicemail is set up, 2, it isn't full. I try to hire at least a dozen people a year that I call and can't leave a message because of one of 2 things. Idiots. Read more. I guess I didn't print that out. Yeah, I'd be a terrible employee. Number 1, you can't read my handwriting, and number 2,
We'd be a great doctor.
my voicemail has fucking been full for
You'd be
a decade.
You'd be a great doctor.
That, like, I try to call people randomly. I'll just every now and then I'll sit down and just try to call 20 customers and, just say thanks for the fucking order. I have to literally, in an hour of dialing the phone, I'm lucky to get 2 people that actually answer the phone. Thank you for your insight, and every successful hope you find good employees. And also, hire fast, fire fast. Like, you don't know what they're doing until they're in front of you. How they look on the internet, how they look on a resume, that's completely different. How they even look in an interview, that's like going to court. You don't know what that dude really is when you're sitting there. Well, most of the people we see in court, you know exactly what they are, but they're hiding that. And when you hire them, they're gonna try to impress you because they want that job, or they think they want that job. Not all, but most grown adults, well, especially around here. A person without a job, that's because they don't want a job. They've got something that's happened in their life. They're desperate. They need a job. We got them come in with the song and dance, I'm losing my house. And we literally give them a job or create a job or just find random shit for them to do. And they can't be to work on time. Or they're out there fucking extra smoke breaks. Or when you have them do something outside and you go out there, they're nowhere to be found. They're off in the fucking tree line on the phone. Hire fast, fire fast. You're not going to know until like the 3rd week what that dude really is.
Or they just don't come to work.
They just don't show up. Yeah. But it's crazy because they can't get to work on time. And then the 3rd day they're sick. They can't get to work. 4th day they're sick. But on fucking Friday they can be right the fuck here. My car was broke. But they can be right the fuck here to pick a check up.
Yeah.
Every fucking time. We need to implement, like, you don't get your fucking check. Like when you miss a day's work, that's $100 fucking. You got to put that in the. Sorry, you owe us money.
Well, you can't really do that.
Yes, you can.
No,
Yes, you can. You just have to make them sign it.
Yeah.
You want to work here? You got to fucking earn it. There's a penalty. You come through the. You don't have your safety glasses on? $20 demerit. Oh, you're late?
Different.
$20 demerit.
You can.
You want through the door?
You can do that.
That door locked at 8:00. You can't come in. You can only go out. So if you want to come in, there's a $100 fine for opening that door past 8:00. I brokered an unemployment opportunity for a 20-year-old kid. I formerly worked as a job developer during the last recession, 2008, 9, 10. The business works in nanotechnology. The young man landed a second interview, which was held at the company's production factory, which was 300 more or less miles away. He informed me he was offered the job. He stated he would need to sign NDAs prior to entering his job site and while exiting daily. He told me his jaws was on the floor of his vehicle during his hundreds of miles way drive home because of what the company showed him. He asked them where they obtained some of their material to make whatever they were making. The business replied from outer space. To preface this story, I met with the business owner's wife, who told me the public wouldn't believe if they knew what they were making. Furthermore, most of their employees were in the process of obtaining security clearances. Book suggestions I have: The Hunt for Zero Point Energy. The Hunt for Zero Point. The writer wrote for Jane's. He presents the case the U.S. government has harnessed zero-gravity technology.
Well, we're not using it very well if we've harnessed it.
You hear those stories all the time. Well, I mean, if you had it, it would render like coal, and it would all these electrical and fuel companies.
No. Ideally, it would be used for vehicles. So
of course, which would fucking wouldn't need fuel.
But it doesn't make any sense. What would the Air Force? The Air Force wouldn't be fucking flying with fuel.
Well, they're probably not.
They are. They're still using fuel.
The normal Air Force is.
Even the secret space Air Force.
Skully, which large volume rucksack, 6,000 cubic inches or larger, do you prefer?
Which large? Just a large ruck.
Large ruck. So
a modified large ruck.
And then you said internal or external.
It doesn't. It kind of doesn't matter. The problem with the large ruck is there's always more fucking shit you can put in there. You should really.
Shit, we were putting 9 extra pockets and adding 26
You really
inches.
should get this. You really should get the small ruck. You really should get the small ruck and learn how to downsize. Learn how to not need all that other shit. I know it's hard, especially in the military, because they require you to carry so much extra stuff. But the combat load is only supposed to be 34 pounds. I know we carry that in just armor, but the bigger the ruck, the more shit you carry in the ruck. I had an SOE modified large rucksack that I used on every deployment. But the only thing that bag ever was a sea bag with a lot of pockets on it. If I had to go anywhere, if I had to, do anything real outside of the fob, I was always carrying like a day pack or something like that. You just, there's too much shit that you can put in there.
If you look at Pornhub statistics, the Bible Belt is the largest consumer of porn, if not the largest one of them. There is no prostitutes. There is not prostitutes at every truck stop. They cracked down hard on that shit. Also, I have never seen a glory hole. Edit. Good day, sir.
Have you not now?
What kind of porn you like, John G? Are you into like 34 and a half? Is that your thing? That's half a 69. Get it? I think that's what's her name's husband. Skully and John, what are your retirement plans, if any? What are you doing right now to set yourself up 20 years down the road? I'm living now.
I have some stuff just from the Marine Corps. I'm sitting on it. It's not gonna be, mucho, but I have some stuff that I've been accumulating over the years. 20 years from now, fuck, I'll probably still be working.
You could definitely do better here. I mean, your money goes further, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. I say money goes further here, but I mean, who knows what's going to be in the future? I just saw a thing. Somebody on the way to Vegas took a picture of a gas station just recently, $9.25.
Holy shit!
Now they were in Baker.
Yeah.
Which gas is always a little bit higher there, but fuck, there. Man, $9, that's crazy.
But I mean, your money would go for.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing too is
plus because your money goes further, you spend more money here. How many more guns have you bought here since you got here?
A ton more.
How many lawnmowers, tractors, fucking stuff?
So the thing is, I'll be 70, and the issue in 20 years. So John's thing, I had a talk with somebody about this before, because they were like, John's always just spending money and shit, and fucking, he's not saving any money. And I'm like,
is that Josh?
It was actually Steve. And I go, yeah, but I think John has a different take on it. I go, just think about this. Think about this for a second. You're 40 years old. You have enough money to buy a Porsche. Now, you can either take that money and put it in the bank and save it for when you're 70, or you could buy the Porsche and do donuts in the parking lot. Now, if he saves the money for when he's 70, yes, he might be able to extend his life a little bit longer if he saved that money. But he will not have done donuts in the parking lot in a Porsche.
You won't be able to even get in the Porsche.
Yeah, so by the time you're set, the question is, by the time you're in your senior years, do you really need a lot more money? Or do you need more money now to have fun so when you're 70, you're not going, fuck, I really wish I could, I really wish I'd have done donuts in the parking lot in the Porsche. I don't know. I say save some money, but I also see the other side of the coin is the sense that, well, you said you're going to live till 125, so you might want to save a little money.
At least 125.
But I mean, that's I kind of like, you got to enjoy life, and if you're hiding all your money for when you're fucking 70, you're not going to be able to enjoy the same things at 70 that you can enjoy at 40, at 50, even at 60.
That's why your average Corvette owner is 55 years old. Or older.
Yeah.
So they fucking waited. And now they can't get in a Porsche. They can probably kind of get in a
Corvette.
But you gotta think too, like, so when I bought the Range Rover, people went nuts. When I bought the Porsche, people went nuts. When I bought the second Porsche, people went nuts. Every time people were going nuts, I ran a coupon code. Like, I paid for that fucking car. We did $48,000 Saturday. We went to pick the Cayman up, right? Saturday. Ran a discount code while everybody was talking. There was dudes like, I hope you and your family fucking die in that car. Like, there was actually those comments. They're still on Facebook right now if you go look at them. The anniversary, the 3-year anniversary, I think it was 3 years of buying the Cayman came up the other day. And when I was looking, all those comments are still there. So I ran a sale code that day and I did $48,000. Like, when I woke up the next morning, there was $48,000 in sales. The car didn't even cost $48,000. And then when we bought the Panamera, it was at Blade Show, the first year that we come to Blade Show. We did $120,000 in sales. The car only cost $108,000. So, I mean, yes, I spent the money. I had pre-spent the money, but it fucking made it all back, I mean, in under 24 hours. All 3 times. So, whatever.
And you did donuts in the
a lot of
parking
donuts.
lot. You did donuts in the parking lot, so, you know, maybe it was money well spent.
Yeah, we got video of it, and I mean, imagine with the drone now. Plus, it's got a fresh clutch. And
it does have a fresh clutch.
Order number, picked up some stuff for me and a gift for my girl. Big endorphin release there. When I saw the total price, I was thinking, damn, all that stuff, and that's all it costs for rest of my life quality. Good deal. I'll be back for more when you guys pump out some more tool bags. Thanks. Lawrence, man, thank you for the order. They're heirlooms. Like, not only will your kids have that shit, your grandkids will have that stuff. Think about it right now, how many kids you see running around with, like, old World War II surplus shit that might have been their grandfather's, but probably was bought at Banana Republic. Like, you can legitimately pass that to your kids, and your kids can give it to their kids. And even if it goes out of fashion, it will be around long enough to be back in fashion. Or, God forbid, they actually need that shit for real stuff, for what it was intended for, then it will, you know, it'll meet that test of time for sure.
The robots will put their tools in them.
Video request. 2 teams, James and whoever, versus John and Skully. Bug out from Nashville at 10 p.m. and find your way to tactical Mexican food. Loser works menial labor on the other's property.
Find your way to... I mean, are we saying from Nashville to...
Nashville to El Vaquero.
Fuck, James will get smoked. Do we get to... I mean...
Plus, James, what am I going to mow James's lawn? I mow James's lawn already.
But I'm still saying, what's the fastest car you think James has?
I don't think that's what they're talking about. They
said, I know, bug out, but even still, if you're going to bug out, we might as well bug out in the fucking Panamera.
Yeah, in comfort.
In comfort.
Shit, I could sleep. You can just wake me up. You wake me up, let me know when it's time to eat.
James will still be trying to start his motorcycle. Come on.
GoPro that shit. First annual Tennessee Moon Pie 500. Brought to you by the big city of Camden. Shit.
That would be pretty cool.
What was it we were saying we're going to have? A TV show, fucking athletes, parkour, ninja. Great race.
The Great Race.
The Great Race.
We're going to have it here?
Obstacle course.
The obstacle
we
course.
said we're going to do obstacle course. And I said, shit, we could do an SOE obstacle course here.
We should just do a crazy obstacle course.
You gotta be able to have at least one person die though.
You have to challenge people to come out. This is Camden. We could probably just get somebody to publish that somebody died on the obstacle course and everybody believe it.
We could just bring a dead person and plant them here. That one dies every day.
Somebody has a heart attack, put them underneath there. Oh, he died on the obstacle course.
Skully, I just heard episode 79 where you were talking about the government spreading misinformation about UFOs so secret about American aircraft wouldn't get out. I have a little anecdote about that. My dad grew up in a small town south of Houston. His grandparents lived in La Porte, Texas, which is about 16 minutes from NASA. His grandfather worked for NASA, but I don't know what he did, just that he worked at NASA. My dad told me a story once. He was playing in his grandparents' front yard and saw a crazy-looking spaceship fly over their house. It scared the shit out of him. A few minutes later, some guys in suits pulled up to the house and started asking if they saw the UFO. He just turned and ran inside. I think this was around 1966, which would have made him about 10. A few years later, in 1969, he saw the lunar module land on the moon and instantly knew that that's what he saw years earlier. I think the guys were his grandpa's NASA buddies fucking with him, but who knows? They could have been driving around telling everyone they see that it was a UFO.
I don't know if you could fly the lunar. I don't know if the lunar module could fly around. Fly around, meaning outside of being in space. The lunar module doesn't have a lot of fuel, and it's mostly for thrusting upward, to break from the moon's gravity to come back into Earth's orbit. So I don't know if they could actually just kind of cruise it around. But in that same time period, we were flying completely round saucers that that had fucking airfoils underneath them to get them up off the ground. We were flying all kinds of crazy shit from the 50s to the 60s to just see if it would work. For all you moon nuts out there, the Israelis just crashed their spacecraft into the moon.
What? Was there people on it?
No people on it. They were trying to land. I guess they were trying to land. They took one picture and then crashed.
That's what happened with the drone the other day.
Everybody's on the damn moon.
John's point on Makita versus DeWalt is spot on. Throw out in the general world and ask people what's favorite brand of gear is. 99% of people are going to say Condor. Swamp Rat, you're running in the wrong fucking circles. 99% are not going to say Condor.
Even people who
they're not going to say SOE, but they're definitely not going to fucking say Condor.
Even people who own Condor know that they own Condor, that it's second rate.
They know they bought it. Those
second rate gear.
Buying Condor is like the dude that bought a Mosin Nagant. All he talks about is ARs. All he talks about is M4s and carbines and stuff. But he bought a Mosin Nagant. That's your Condor owner. And most of that, I don't know that they're even marketed well. I don't know where the fuck I've seen any Condor marketing other than a couple random magazines here and there. Yeah, you saw way fucking more Blackhawk ads than Condor.
Yeah, I don't know. Blackhawk is kind of falling off the ad.
They're not around anymore. But my point is, it was airsofters that were buying Condor. And you had trickle down into just line units. Guys deploying would buy that shit because they didn't want. Man, I can buy a lot of beer for $150 chest rig.
Well, I don't. I've never seen anybody wear Condor.
It's after your time. Like if you look on those forums, you will see dudes fucking push. Same guys buying. That were deploying with that other shit.
They're not really deploying.
Correct.
Not really deploying.
Thanks, guys. Keep up the good work. Skully, do you go to any gun shows, or do they have anything like that near where you guys live in Tennessee? Here in the South Carolina, there is one about every 2 months. I myself love going to gun shows and usually spend too much money, but I still do it anyways. We're kind of fucking spoiled. Like, we grew up in a time going to gun shows. We had the Pomona Fairgrounds gun show. It was literally every building at the fairground. It was 10 giant fucking buildings.
10 miles of tables.
It was. That's what.
Yeah,
it was,
that's what they used to advertise. 10
miles of tables. Like the National Guard brought all their shit out to include like fucking rocket launchers and shit.
It's weird. it's weird being here in Tennessee because, and I don't get it. So, just like John said, when there's, even the Del Mar Gun Show
was in 2 buildings.
It was in 2 buildings, and even today, the Del Mar Gun Show it's not as good as it was in its heyday, but it's still pretty good. I try to go to the gun shows that are here. So first off,
one of them's in a barn with fucking dirt floors.
The communists in Nashville shut down the fairground gun show up there. Yep. So you can no longer go to the fairground gun show.
Now that's the same fairground we go to the flea market and antique show, right? And there's probably 10 buildings there as well. Not nearly as big as Del Mar was. But they only use 1 building, and it's not even all the way filled when they had it. And now they don't have it anymore.
Yeah, and so...
You were here to catch a couple of them, though.
A couple of them. I go, there's one up in Clarksville that I go to. It's in a National Guard armory, and the table area is as big as our floor space out here.
So we went to one in Dixon. Literally was in a horse auction barn.
That's the other one.
Dirt floors.
Yeah, that's the other one. Is the one in Dixon, and I go to those two. It's just for me. Which is weird. It's a letdown to go to these gun shows around here because, man, when the ones in California, you would have I could have bought a flamethrower. At one time, I walked by a booth that had real World War II flamethrowers for sale. I'm like, oh man, I wish I could afford a flamethrower. And it just seems like there's not like a really big gun show in this area. And I may not be, I haven't traveled out to...
We gotta go to Knob Creek.
Yeah, I haven't traveled out to Murfreesboro to see the ones out there, but like...
Murfreesboro's close, like, compared to that. It's...
Knob Creek, I want to go to Knob Creek, but swear to God, for the last 3 years, I say that I want to go to Knob Creek. The following Monday, somebody will go, hey, did you know Knob Creek was it? What the fuck? For whatever reason, I keep missing it. But that'll probably be my next big gun show. Hopefully, will be Knob Creek.
Have y'all seen chemtrails in Camden? They're pretty bad in Texas. Just saw a video of John Brennan talking at the Council on Foreign Relations about how chemtrails will save the planet from global warming, that geoengineering is bad stuff. 10 years ago, people said it was all complete tinfoil hat stuff. Now, there's videos of former CIA heads claiming chemtrails will save the Earth.
Oh, God, you got to get that tinfoil off your head.
I don't think so, man.
It's not real, guys.
I think it is
it's
real.
It's 100% not real.
Just in Nashville, somebody posted some videos just a few months ago.
It's 100% not real.
There was one I wanted to read, but I forgot to read in here. Oh well.
It's 100% not real. You're talking about aircraft above 30,000 feet that creates water on the wingtips. That's what you're seeing is evaporating water coming off those wingtips. You have to think about this. On however the different temperature variations are, if you look up in the sky and you see, let's say you see 20 chemtrails, that's 20 aircraft that have had their entire fuselage filled with whatever this chemical is all over the United States at one time. That airfield would be so fucking big and require so many people that you yourself would probably be working at the place where they're filling these aircraft up with this mysterious material that is in no way would be at 30,000 feet volume enough to affect anything. It's not real. They've tried it. Have they tried it? Yes, they filled the ionosphere one. They had filled the ionosphere one time with metal particles to see if they could get radio signals to bounce further. They have tried to seed clouds. They did it all in Vietnam. But you're not thinking of the volume. You have to, whenever you see something like that, you have to think of the volume, the amount of aircraft, the amount of personnel, the sheer volume of the factory that would be pumping out these chemicals. I can show you a picture from World War II of Spitfires and B-24s flying over fucking Germany with chemtrails coming off them. It only has to do with altitude and temperature.
John, just a few random questions to keep the podcast coming. Are you going to wait for the Forerunner or go look at another? Man, I'm actually to the point where I forget about the Forerunner until they call and go,
It's not here yet.
it's not here yet. It's going to be another 3 weeks. Like I literally, I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot we fucking bought that.
At least they're calling you and telling you it's not here yet.
You mentioned going for another deal a few podcasts back, but nothing since. What I was talking about was going and buying another Porsche, from Porsche. How is the front gate build going? It's good. Carrie was actually here measuring. It looks like we're pouring concrete, which where the gate is going to move and actually roll. It's got these big, huge fucking casters on the corners. So we're looking at pouring a big slab of concrete that actually will come up a few inches like a giant speed bump where that rolls at. It's got automatic closers on both sides.
Is it gonna open like that, or is it like this?
It's going to open inward.
So it's gonna open inward.
We did that so that some asshole couldn't just fucking park a truck right there and keep us from opening the gate should we ever need that to happen. We could also post a vehicle there should we ever need to fucking barricade. It's big, huge 2-inch tubing, 1.5-inch tubing, square tubing. Very ornate ironwork all across it. It's actually built on another gate set from history. And then we're putting big, huge, fucking thick wood planks on the inside. So when it's all done, when the gates are closed, you won't even be able to look up the driveway. And then we'll be able to contain big animals, dogs and shit. So it's coming well. How is the antique sale going? Or still in the setup stage? I haven't actually fucking populated any of that. I actually talked to them last weekend again about it. I will try to have better questions next time. I enjoyed the podcast and the videos you and Skully do. Made in motherfucking USA by the best motherfuckers in the world. Thanks, man. 14 years, commercial electrician, never seen a Makita cordless tool on a job site. DeWalt and Milwaukee are brands used. I purged a lot of YouTube subscriptions last night and left private Facebook pages. Man, you'll see more of what you want to see when you do that. Just think about how many private how many groups you're in. Like your buddy's got a page, and then he gets in a little tiff with somebody else, and they start another page. And I mean, think about the patch pages, right?
It's like churches here.
Yeah, it is. There's 120 of them. There was 120. Now there's even more. Somebody leaves and starts their own church and takes 5 members. And then they put them in places where you wouldn't expect churches to be.
That's right.
Little steel buildings and shit. Think about the patch pages. You got like 3 main patch pages, and then you've got all these little patch pages, and then fucking meme pages. Think about how much time you actually spend doing that. Like I was watching a video today on, I can't remember his name. Old dude from Long Beach, lives in Scotland. It's worth fucking $25 billion. Pena is his name. I can't remember his first name. But he's like, after you take his course, you actually go to his castle in Scotland and you stay there 10 days. He mentors you, and then you have accountability. Once a week you have to file a report with him for a year. And it's about, what you've achieved this week, what your goals are, and what your next week's targets are. And then you have itemization of how many phone calls you made, how much time you spent on the internet, what it was for. And basically what he was saying, he goes, every time you're on the internet, or every phone call you make, or every interaction you have with a person, how much of that was towards your goal, and how much of it kept you doing other shit that didn't have anything to do with meeting your goals, buckling down and getting the work done. And he's, you'll be amazed at the time you spend. And I mean, I've got a lot of friends, and I've been put in these groups. I never requested to be in them. I'm just in them. They put you in these groups. No problem, whatever. I am very careful about what I reply to. Like on Instagram, I'll see all kinds of shit. And I'll start to comment or give a thumbs up or something, but I don't. Because when I do that, that's all I'm going to see in my feed. Like, I'm on reptile pages. I'm on oddities groups. I'm in a lot of different groups. But I don't ever comment on the reptile ones, because the second I do, or I fucking push a heart on Instagram, that's what's gonna be in my feed for the next couple weeks. And I've groomed it, and it basically populates with shit that I want to see that is going to keep me on target and on course. So that's good, man. Just fucking put time into shit that is getting you where you want to go. Act as though everybody you come into contact with is fucking contagious. Do you want to catch what they have? or are you about to catch what they have? Like, do you want to be more like them? Because if you don't give them the fucking time of day. You can be polite in passing, but remember, everybody uses the word friend. Like we were talking about this morning, my friends, and Chef was talking about that, somebody's kid talking about friends, and he's like, man, so-and-so has a lot of friends. They go, she's never met any of those people. She only knows them on Facebook. Like, she's literally never come into contact. Those aren't friends. That's a make-believe fucking world. That's like having an imaginary... It's just as good as having an imaginary friend. Because if you were in jail, them people on Facebook ain't going to come bail you out. If your car burns down, you're probably not going to go stay. Well, you might. I mean, if you have a vagina, I'm sure there's plenty of places you could go stay. But be careful how you use that word friend. You can use it all you want, but know what the fuck it is. Is that truly your friend? Do they make you better, or do they fucking pull you down? 14 years commercial. Hey, Skully, what were the best and worst motto tattoos you ever saw? Moto.
I mean, I'm not a big institutional guy when it comes to stuff like that. Like, yeah, I get it, Marine Corps, the EGAs, and all that shit. There was a bunch of guys that were getting regulator tattoos that I thought were pretty stupid.
What was a regulator tattoo?
That was just they were the regulators.
Oh, like they're gonna ride horses.
Yeah, they were the regulators.
Regulators, mount up.
Yeah, they were getting those tattoos.
Like Warren G.
My thing is, it should be.
Did it really say it just said regulator?
It had some thing on there that was, attached to Young Guns. I don't know, but my thing is, with tattoos is it should be something original. So if you have a tattoo, it should be something original. If
you got to walk into the lobby and pick one off the wall.
Yep. And it also should be something you earned. So, I just said I'm not big on institutional. If you got a big fucking EGA tattoo on your shoulder and you fucking made it through boot camp, then you know what? Good for you. You earned that. I don't like any tribal shit unless you're actually in a fucking tribe.
How many white girls are running around with fucking dream catchers?
Yeah, with dream catchers.
Or barbed wire.
Tattoos really piss me off.
I think Hank Greenberg has some barbed wire tribal tattoos.
I'll bet he does. Definitely barbed wire. Just barbed wire. It probably says barbed wire underneath it.
That's why he can't be like a real MMA fighter. He's got to do all that jiu-jitsu shit because it covers up all his tattoos.
Yeah.
His tramp stamp.
But yeah, that's my thing. I think you should. It should be something original original to you, and it should be something that you earned. Like, I have no tattoos. And it's not that I wouldn't want to get a tattoo. Like, I've got some ideas for some tattoos. I don't want to put the time in, meaning I don't want to sit on a table for fucking 9 hours while somebody draws a picture on me. And the other thing is, it has to be original. Like, it has to be something. I do not want to walk into a place and go, hey, that's a cool EGA you got. Look, I got one just like it. What were
you saying? We just a couple days ago. You're like, repeat what you said. I'll say this, and then you repeat it.
I don't remember what I said.
Hold on.
Okay.
The dude that's the most fucking moto right now, 20 years later, about the Marine, everything on social media. He's got all the fucking stickers all over his car. It's like the Gulf War veteran. What was the first one?
First one was the Gulf War.
It's like the Gulf. There were some dudes that did some real shit. Of course there was. There's some dudes that are legitimately fucked up. But most of them, what'd you say about
90%.
What'd you say? You said it's like, because before that, it was Vietnam. People came home and actually did some shit. These guys, they're prepared, they've trained, they've been in the military a while. We're going to war. You go over there and it fizzles out and nothing happens. You come home, there's no, like, welcoming for you. It's just like you didn't do anything. So they have nothing to, like, grasp onto. So they're placarded up with stickers. The other thing was the dude with the most fucking tattoos and everything's the Marine Corps, and he's still wearing fucking BDUs, and that was boot camp.
The most I always look at it this way, which I'm a hypocrite. I was a shitbird, so I can say this. Usually the most motivated guys, like when you're walking around and you see that guy who's got 9 stickers on his car and he's got the flag flying and he's wearing the devil dog hat and he's got the devil dog t-shirt. chances are, if you talk to anybody that was in the Marine Corps with him at that time, they'd be like, that motherfucker was complaining about the Marine Corps the entire time he was in. But now that he's out, it's, full bore. Which, whatever. I don't care. I don't care if you go full bore, but it's just funny.
As long as you're not, I don't care what story you tell. I don't care what you claim. As long as it's not taking away from harming somebody, we don't care what you do. We just laugh at you. It's entertainment. That's our method of entertainment. Along those lines, be careful who you take advice from on the goddamn internet. There was this dude that he was on AR-15, he was on Light Fighter, he was on AssaultWeb.net, he was on all these fucking forums, right? And he would talk. I don't remember him ever saying he was Special Forces. I had it in my head, this dude was Special Forces. Like, he knew everything about gear, all this shit, right? I moved to Camden, and I'm in Walmart, and this dude hollers my name out. And I'm like, who the fuck are you? He's like, I'm so-and-so. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I remember going, what the fuck? I thought you're an SF dude. He goes, no, I've never been in the military. He literally, should have been riding a rascal scooter. He's fucking 400 pounds, out of shape, fucking, like, everything that could be fucking health-wise wrong with you. But we all, for a decade probably, watched this dude and took his, watched people take his advice. And dudes are like, hey, man, we're about to do another rotation over. I'm using this tourniquet. I've got these things. Like, what pouch should I use, guys? And this dude would pop up immediately and just start answering questions. Nobody questioned that. He had been there embedded so long. When you finally saw him, though, he was a 400-pounder. Had never done any, had never fucking... He had on some BDUs and some boots, but he had never fucking patrolled, hiked, humped, nothing in those fucking boots. So be careful who you... It's just like on bodybuilding forums and shit. I haven't been on a bodybuilding forum in a decade at least. But you'll see dudes giving you all kinds of information and advice. If that dude doesn't have, if you don't know legitimately who that dude is, he hasn't been on a stage, he's not winning some medals, he doesn't look like you want to look, he doesn't have a bunch of videos of him actually doing the shit, don't take advice from fucking people. Stop fucking taking advice from people just because it's the advice you want to hear. There's not an easy way to do anything, ever. It's not. You have to fucking put the work in. There's not a pill you can take and just fucking be 4% body. I'd take it. Believe me, I've taken all of them. They don't work. You have to do the work. Right? I eat all the pills.
Hey, John, yeah, there's not a pill.
Sometimes we're not sure which one interacted poorly together.
If there's a pill out there and you were like, hey, I think this will make you bigger. Boom, John has already bought it. He's taken 4 of them.
They fucking sent it to me before it hit the market.
If the label says take 4, he's taken 8, and then he's showing everybody his veins.
Yeah, it used to be vanadyl sulfate. Now we have better things. You mentioned a few podcasts ago a house for sale you were interested in I believe Waverly. I looked it up and gave me a map of Camden. For a village, you guys have a shitload of churches. You're right about that, buddy.
Churches everywhere. I got a church 100 yards from my house that nobody goes to.
Why do so many American gun websites not sell and ship to Europe? It isn't even an option. Well, let me tell you this. It's because of your guys' customs. It's probably not on us. I mean, I'm sure there's some ITAR shit. Just like you can't ship night vision out of the United States. Yeah, body armor plates. We had a dude ship body armor plates to us in the Oceanside shop, right? And we had U.S. Customs come in over fucking body. I want to say it was U.S. Customs over body armor plates. It was a dude who was in, I want to say he was in Iraq, shipped plates. We made fucking carrier for it, shipped everything back. That actually caught up. Somebody came and wanted to question and ask some questions about that shit 2 years after the fact, maybe?
That sounds about right for the government.
So the gun thing, so we ship tourniquets to Canada. We ship them. We literally ship. We don't ship anything that has any ITAR regulations. That's night vision or secured classified stuff. Anything at all, crypto load stuff, certain comm units, mostly to do with electronic stuff. So we can ship our stuff literally anywhere in the world, and we do. But it's the customs in that country. When we ship at U.S. priority mail, it's out of the United States and at your customs place within 3 days. There are dudes that have waited 6 months to get their shit through customs, and it's just kind of the roll of the dice. Like, we could ship the same thing 100 times to Germany. Canada's one same thing 100 times to Canada. 99 will get there literally within a few days. You will have your shit and you're posting pictures on the internet. But there's always that one dude, and one that came to mind was it was bandages that they were all up in arms over. It wasn't quick clot, wasn't tourniquets, wasn't the gear. It was the 2 Israeli 6-inch bandages, and
probably because they're Israeli.
They're not Israeli. We just call them Izzy bandages. They were just 6-inch bandages. They're like, why do you need these medical things? Are you like, basically what it came down to was, are you planning on robbing a bank and you need these medical supplies in case you get shot? So it's just shit like that, man. And I don't know that we don't have some laws against it.
It would have been awesome if he said, no, in case I accidentally shoot one of you, I can put this bandage on.
Only Brownells does via its European website. So they're probably not shipping from the U.S. then. That's probably why. They probably warehouse in other countries. So far, 18 Democratic presidential candidates for 2020. Who could take it away from Trump? Barr actually used the term spying, RE, the surveillance on Trump and his team. He also stated if the FBI was looking for Russian interference, they should have informed Trump and warned him of possible Russian interference, like with Feinstein and her Chinese driver. Barr made a clear case, and people like Clapper seemed not at ease anymore when he was asked for comments. Perhaps they will still go for Clinton and Obama administration. Nunes also asked DOJ to investigate 5 people connected with FISA warrants. Could it actually happen?
That's not going to happen. They're not going to go after Obama. They definitely won't go after Obama. I mean, if you want to... It's got to have to be a little more than I was spying on Donald Trump, which he was doing that was illegal, and it was actually what he was doing was worse than what happened at Watergate, because Watergate, the thing about Watergate is they didn't get anything when they tried to break into the Democratic Party's headquarters. They didn't get shit when they left there. The CIA and the FBI actually were getting information spying on Trump for pre-election. So what Obama did was very illegal, and they probably should arrest him or charge him with conspiracy at the very least. But it's not going to happen. We're at a different level, guys. You have to remember, Trump is not part of the big government, the stay there every day government. He's technically an outsider. Obama has signed himself into the stay behind government. That's why he keeps doing big events in countries around the world. Same thing with John Kerry. John Kerry is actually going around and talking to foreign adversaries and telling them that it's going to be okay once Donald Trump is out of the White House. That in itself is illegal. That is treason. John Kerry should be arrested. But they're not going after anybody in the permanent government. You'd have to basically gut the FBI, put all new FBI agents in there, and be like, follow the law. What does the law say we need to do? Before you're ever going to see Hillary and Obama arrested, because the FBI and the CIA and all those guys there are not following the law.
Thanks for the kick in the ass. Feeling better. I'm the guy with the leg and cancer and kidney failure. Thanks again. Dude, I'm glad you're feeling better.
Yeah.
Leg, cancer, and kidney. Holy fuck. What are the first plans for the 4Runner when it comes in? Man, I don't know that I'm going to do anything to it. I'm planning to keep it 6 months. Like, that's legitimately my plan. And then I'm going to trade it in for something else. I don't know. Maybe a roof rack, but I like the way the roof racks look and shit. When am I really going to put
anything on the roof rack?
Like, that truck's capable. We might put some stuff on it to take to overland. But really, I've got a bunch of fucking trucks. Like, if we're going someplace, the 4Runner is what we drive in comfort in. But we usually got a trailer and a bunch of shit in tow on another couple rigs or something. So, I don't know, man. Like, I really want to lift it and put some larger tires on it. But I'm keeping it 6 months. Like, they're not giving you that money back. They're going to actually penalize you for that fucking $5,000 in, suspension and tires you put on it. What are the first, I'm the Joker, I never lie, I'm a god king. Hey, Gay Wolf, you're fucking banned. Like, we won't ever see a comment, so go ahead and make a new fake account. I fucking warned you already. It's just because, you know what? You just irritate me. And I'm cutting out fucking any irritation from my life. One of the other comments that was in there, a dude had asked how I balance, like, business and life and gym and stuff. I don't know that I do balance it. I just kind of fucking do what I feel like I need to do at the time. Like, I'll be in the middle of doing something and go, I need to work out. And I'll just go fucking work out. We'll come back from the gym. We'll get from the gym, come let everybody in the shop. I'll work for about 30 minutes, and then I know breakfast is at 9. And I'll tell myself that morning, in order to eat breakfast, you have to do cardio. So I'll do 30 minutes of cardio prior to that. When the work's not done, because I did some other shit, there's always... Like if I go to sleep at 11 o'clock at night, or let's say I go to sleep at midnight, right? That's more realistically what it is. If I have done a bunch of shit through the day, like we've worked outside, Cody and I planted some trees this morning, so that took, 45 minutes out of the day. We fucked around with some gutters and stuff on the building. That took another 30 minutes out of the day. Got all the shipping done. There's still maybe 10 packages out there. Jeff's going to package some more shit before he leaves. If the work isn't done that needed done, because I did some other shit, I still have the time that I would sleep from midnight till 5:30 in the morning. I have 5.5 hours to make that time up. I would say it's generally always made up. I might push it off and do a little bit less for 4 or 5 days, but it always gets made up. Like Amanda and I went to Nashville this weekend. We were back here at 8 o'clock. We both worked from 8 o'clock to 3:30 that morning. So we slept from 3:30 until about 3:30 till about 9 on Sunday, and then got up like Sunday was a normal fucking day, and went to bed at Sunday night at midnight, and we're back up at 5:30. So it gets reset. I don't know that I balance it. I just do whatever it is that needs to be done, and whenever it needs to be done. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, there's no separation of church and state. It's just...
It's just like everything. I've just built it all into what I do. I just am lucky I got a property big enough and a building big enough to fucking house all the toys and the business. And now I've got a fucking almost a whole entire gym back there. So it won't be long that we'll just come and work out here. Like, we won't have to fucking go to the gym. It won't be very long. Which really saves, when you add it up and think about it, it's about 30 minutes of getting ready and going to the gym, and that's a man hour a day. That's an hour out of me and Amanda. So that's 2 man hours, 6 days a week. That's 12 man hours that we saved by putting the gym here. And some of the guys will use the gym as well. I mean, every employee here could use the gym, but only a few of them will. Listening to Workforce Economics, look up Price's Law, and your mind will be blown if it's the first time you've ever heard it. Derek Price, who was a British physicist, historian of science, and information scientist, found out the following, now called Price's Law. 50% of work is done by the square root of the total number of people who participate in the work. That's what we say all the time. Fucking
yeah.
We say that all the time. Fucking 20% of the people do 80% of the work. 80% of your revenue is going to come from 20% of your customers. 10% of your customers are going to eat up 80% of your time. So know those things going into it. Super take care of those 20%. You'll always have them. Work on developing new ones and adding to that 20% to enlarge the 20%. Cut the head off of the 10% that are going to eat up 80% of your time. You always have easier customers. When you kill those fucking bad customers, they're going to go out and talk about you which is going to drive traffic one way or another. And then they're still going to want your product, so they're going to make fake accounts, which a lot of dudes have done. Like,
to buy product.
To buy product. I mean, we know who they are. And we just, as long as they behave, we don't fucking care. But the ones that really fucking super hate you now because you fucking turned them off, they're going to your competitor. And they're going to do the same shit at your competitor. And your competitor's going to try to kowtow to him. And while he's fucking helping them, we're going to help 10 more of fucking our competitors' customers at this point. It's a big circle. Swamp Rat. sounds like a sanctuary city where the few that work support the bums shitting in the street. Fire and or rid the leeches, keep the square roots.
I'm on a fucking, me and Donald Trump are like this. Literally, like a week ago, in my head, I'm like, because what happens is when they bring in the illegal aliens now, they end up having to release them into the wild. And I thought to myself, because there's a place in Texas where they're taking them all. They're taking them to this place that has a food bank, and then they unload the bus there, and then they just drive away. And I thought, why are they leaving them all in Texas? They should take them to the sanctuary cities and dump them off. And then President Trump is now pushing to have all the fucking illegal immigrants dropped off at sanctuary cities.
I like it.
So the funny thing is, it's interesting what a grand master he is in the sense of, if you are liberal, and you have some sort of thing that you're pushing, some belief, like the liberals are pushing right now about, we shouldn't incarcerate these illegal immigrants. We should just let them all out, right? So they're screaming that.
I said that like fucking 3 months ago. We should just fucking put them where all the Iraqi cities are.
And Trump was, and so they're yelling at Trump about it. And Trump gets people to go, oh, wait a minute. We really don't want you to do that either. So, like the sanctuary cities, right? They're all, ooh, we're going to protect our illegal immigrants. And so Trump's like, okay, that's fine. I'm going to start busing all these illegal immigrants up to your sanctuary cities. Dianne Feinstein came out and was like, hey, we don't really want them in our city. You really shouldn't bus them up here. Even Cher came out and was like, hey, we really need to start taking care of our veterans before we start bringing illegal immigrants into this sanctuary city.
So all the people calling for it, he's like, okay, they're coming to your house.
Yeah, as soon as he's like, all these people that are like, oh, just let them go. And then when you're like, okay, we're going to, make up a bed because we're bringing them to your house. They're like, oh, we didn't really mean our house. We meant somebody else's house.
Every time Washington, D.C. has big event, I think they go around and pick up all the vagrants and homeless, put them on a bus, and they send them. I thought they sent them to California.
Well, there is actually a real deal where I want to say the state of Washington State. No, where is Seattle? So I think it was a city in Oregon that actually gathered all their bums and gave them a bus pass to go to Seattle.
Got it. And
got dropped off. So there's cities that do that.
So when I first moved here, we would drive, because we were in Cedar Lakes, so we drive the bypass.
Right.
And there's just, there's like, it's weird here. There's driveways that go nowhere here. Because if that property is owned by somebody, TDOT has to provide a driveway, whether there's anything there or not. So as you're looking up, as we're driving past, there's a tent. And I mentioned it to James. He's like, oh yeah, we don't have homeless people around here. Like, we don't let vagrants stay around here. He goes, yeah, we pick them up and we take them to the end of the fucking county line, and there's another deputy from there, and we'll turn them over to that deputy, and that deputy will give them a ride out of their county and just keep going. He goes, yeah, you won't see none of that shit around here. And
that's why they were all camped out on the freeway. Probably that's because they don't. Yeah, I guess that would be the.
Somebody bought that property, man, and they went. Yeah,
they tore that motherfucker.
When I say you could go, so the North 40 truck stop is the main big truck stop before you get off the interstate to come to Camden. Now you're going to drive another 20 minutes probably to actually hit Camden from the interstate, and like that's the way. It's not a shortcut. It is literally the only way, unless you have a helicopter. So when you get off on that interstate, there's 4 or 5 failed gas stations, and then there's the big truck stop. And then across the way, there's an old CDS motel, and there's like an adult bookstore. When we went in there, I don't think it's open anymore. We went in there maybe a year or two after living in Camden. I'm like, come on, I want to see what this looks like. And it looks just like you think it looks. There's 5 different carpets that they've just put over carpet, like so much carpet the doors can't open. And you go in there, and there's VCR tapes, there's some DVDs, but they have sex toys that clearly have been opened and put back in the package and returned. Like, it was awesome, man. You go in a store that should have the capability of having $1 million in inventory, and it has about $10,000 in inventory in the whole building. And who knows what's going on in the back rooms?
Who knows?
Cool, whatever. Well, on the caddy corner, there's a big stand of pine trees, and you can't really see back in there. But it kept encroaching further and further toward the road. There were fucking hundreds of fucking tents back in there of people just living there. And it's like Jeff said, any registered sex offender, they push those guys out. A lot of those camps, and it's not that a sex offender can't live by a school zone. People will rent to them. Yeah. There's a lot of shit there. It's not that everybody in there is a bad person, but a lot of them are. And that's where a lot of your fucking, petty crime and your theft and shit's going to come from. Cars getting broken into at the truck stops and shit like that. It just goes to reason. That's where it's going to come from. I didn't ever hear anything about massive crime. I just always saw, like, the litter and the trash. They were just too fucking bold about it. Had they bothered to use some fucking brown and black spray paint and camoed it a little, instead of using fucking orange tints and yellow tints, like, you could literally see it. Somebody bought that property, I guess, or the city just had enough, and they went through and fucking cut the trees down.
And
they dozed that motherfucker. They didn't even, like, take your shit, I don't know if they just showed up with equipment one morning and they're like, you better move or we're going to run over you, because that's what it looked like. That dirt, it is just fucking dozer piles, and all that shit is just in there with it. We should go down there with a metal detector.
We should go down there just to check it out.
Yeah, you'd get stabbed by needles.
Maybe, yeah.
We were somewhere. We stopped at a Burger King, my favorite fast food restaurant.
Really? I thought it was McDonald's.
Mm-mm. McDonald's is...
I never hear you say anything about Burger King.
Because our Burger King here is shitty.
It is. The Burger King here does suck.
I have a dude that worked for me for about a year. And he had a lot of Transformer tattoos. Looked like he put them on himself. Like...
Original. I guess it's original.
Okay. You've seen me tattoo several people.
Uh-huh, yeah.
I cannot tattoo. I can, do a little bit of shading, whatever, maybe. If you're like, John, I want you to put Optimus Prime on my arm, I'm like, I got you.
Right.
What do you think it would like? His tattoos look like you imagine me putting a tattoo on you, right? It's like he did it on himself on the arm, okay?
Yeah.
So he's got Rent-A-Center. He's got this television, right? Rent-A-Center comes and repos his TV. So he actually goes and pays the bill. For you guys that don't know, you pay 4 times as much
for
renting to own as you could. We walked in there because I didn't know what Rent-A-Center was. But when we moved to Camden, we had a Rent-A-Center and a Sears. But it wasn't a Sears like any Sears you'd seen.
No, it was like
It's a Sears. You walk in this
Sears
little
mini
shop, and they have some washers and dryers, a little bit of Craftsman shit, and some riding mowers and stuff. The stuff I would want to buy from Sears, because I don't go to Sears for clothes or anything. Right. The things I would want were there. There's still one, I believe, in Paris that's open right next to a Rent-A-Center. So we go in. They got couches, TVs, shit. It literally is 4 times as much as buying the shit. And this fool would rent this shit, and they'd come repo his TV, and he'd fucking take his whole paycheck and get that fucking TV back. And he came to me one day, and he's like, I'm not gonna work anymore. I'm like, what are you gonna? And he had just on the heels of telling me that he's got some child. They had him in jail. They had him in jail over child support. I think I paid that to get him out of jail. Here, when they put you in jail for child support,
you got to pay that shit.
You just live in jail until you can con somebody, one of your fucking kin or your employer, or somebody come get your ass out of jail, because you will sit in fucking jail. I think I paid that, and then a couple weeks later, on the heels of that, he's like, yeah, I'm quitting. I go, why? I thought you, what's up? He's like, I just want to stay home and watch my shows. Swear to God. That guy is the manager of Burger King.
Well, that explains it.
I've been to Burger King 2 or 3 times. You can go there at 9 o'clock at night. There's literally nobody in there. You drive up to the drive-thru. It'll take you 15 minutes to get your food.
Yeah.
And I've got too many ex-employees. That's why we don't eat here in town. Number one, it's not awesome. The service isn't great. Some places, the Mexican place you go to, they are happy to see you and they want to do business with you. But we've walked into too many places where hey, we got 10 people, and the hostess will literally go, bitch, these people with me are going to tip your fucking servers more than they have made all week. We're not going to fucking send any food back. We're not going to ask for anything crazy. And we're going to give you a lot of fucking money. But we just, like, we cut out. Like, truly, TAC Response stopped going to this Italian restaurant because of that server. I used to go over there. I'd eat dinner with class every fucking night. And we'd go in there and go, hey, I got 30 people. I'm like, you got to be fucking kidding me. So we put an all hold on that place. And they went out of business. That fucking business went out of business 90 days later. Closed. Out of business. So Burger King, I just like a Whopper. I'll pull all the bread off and use the other pieces of bread as a handle. Chomp it down and then pull most of the bread off and eat that. McDonald's has the appearance of being cleaner because they've refaced them all.
Gotcha.
And you don't have to interact with a human being there. That kiosk thing.
It's got poop all over it, by the way, so don't touch the kiosk.
Like Amanda can order. She literally
shit. Yeah,
she'll order a hamburger that has 5 patties and 3 fucking pieces of cheese.
Weird shit. Yeah, her man.
On lettuce with no bun, and they'll bring and they don't fuck it up. Like they legitimately, it's almost like there's a machine back there making that. So that and like we'll get up Saturday and I won't eat any breakfast, and then we'll start if we're going to Nashville or whatever. I'll be hungry. Like I won't have eaten in 12 hours or so, 10 hours, whatever it is. I don't know what it is. So we'll set off to go to Nashville to go eat, and I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna fucking make it to Nashville. Like we gotta fucking eat something. And McDonald's is just it. I can literally be in and out of the building in 15 minutes, and I know that those eggs they gave you are real eggs because they have eggshells in them. Like they legitimate, like for real, egg McMuffins. Those were some fucking eggs in a shell, fucking. Couple minutes before you ordered that shit. So I eat the eggs and the fucking ham there. Woods Liquor. I don't know what that is. Bonner Spring, Kansas still has porn in the liquor smoke shop. Oh, somebody said, Woods Liquor. Somebody knew what it was. Angry Birds. That was 12 years ago. Yeah, we know. Not that I'm counting. The truth of climate is that it has cooled, ice age, and warmed, global warming, many times. Actually, just proves John only uses his cell phone for shoe porn. I actually have no porn apps on my phone.
What apps? Who uses a porn app? What does a porn app do?
How do you look at porn?
How do I look at porn? I type in
That's how you get viruses.
I type in XNXX.
What's that?
It's a porn site. And then I just look at whatever porn I want to look at.
Hamster or Pornhub or something?
No, it's not Pornhub. It's XNXX.
There's a search engine. I was watching a video on fucking something, and this thing came up. This chick has a YouTube channel, and she's like the best porn search engine that data mines the best and is the cleanest, less chance of viruses. FUQ.com.
FUQ.com. Might have to look.
I haven't seen.
I guess it'll be. I bet it won't be that
yeah,
good.
That was 6 years or so ago.
Won't be that good.
Hi guys, in podcast 78, talking about people under 30 who can't do basic shit. I believe the parents have a lot to answer for in this. In the 80s, my father taught me how to use a saw, use a lawnmower, change a tire, catch, clean, cook fish, row a boat, etc., etc. My mother taught me how to cook and properly clean a house. If I wanted money to do something, I had to earn it. Now, a lot of parents expect computers and iPads to raise their kids. I myself teach my own kids heaps of life skills. For instance, I live in the biggest lake in Australia. Fuck you, man. I bet you got crocodiles and shit. And when I take my 12-year-old daughter out fishing, I usually drive my boat, but she knows everything to do from checking the fuel to starting, driving my boat, and shutting it down. I give her a test regularly, and if one day, heaven forbid, I pass out, I have a heart attack on the water, at least I know my daughter can get us to help and not just sit there shitting herself, not knowing what to do. Good podcast. Keep it up. Cheers, Brad. Brad, man, very cool, dude. Right? Very cool.
That is very cool. Yeah. That's fucking awesome. We don't do enough of that. I mean, I'm actually guilty of it too. I don't think I taught my kids enough stuff. They're pretty resilient. They're pretty resilient. But yeah, that we don't teach our kids enough because we feel like, I think, you know, society in general is, we feel like somebody else is going to do it. And, you know, the schools aren't really educating people anymore.
They're just babysitting.
Parents aren't educating people anymore, so you get whiny bitches is what we have now trying to run for Congress.
Brad, have you seen Patriot games, Patriot trailers? They're out of Australia. I don't know where in Australia, but they have a very cool YouTube channel where they go out and do a ton of shit, and it's all off-road based. They make some of the most rugged fucking off-road expedition trailers. Those dudes were at Overland. Mm-hmm. I really wanted to meet that dude. I just wanted to say hi to him. He wasn't there, but very cool channel nonetheless. My order shipped today, guys. Thanks so much for your podcast, for the product and podcast. Whole solar system is undergoing a climate change. All the planets are changing somehow. The sun seems to be common factor. Humans pollute and fuck shit up, no doubt. But are we changing a whole planet? No one is talking about other planets. Too much money to be made off CO2 credits. Is CO2 credits a real thing? I thought that was all bullshit, like it went away.
Well, it did. When Trump got in there, he pulled us out of all that. So we're not really doing that.
And okay, the U.S. is a mass polluter and doing all this shit, but
it's not actually. We're not the.
My point is, well, not U.S., China, whatever. The Earth, mass polluters. It ain't as fucking much pollution as when all those fucking super volcanoes went off.
Yeah, no, I mean the reality is the Earth changes. You know, when all these people are talking about the Earth is going to be just fine.
We heard about the Dark Ages. That was a little ice age.
We are not going to do anything to the Earth. The Earth will be just fine.
She'll cleanse herself.
Whether or not the fleas that infest the Earth will be okay, who knows? But even still, tomorrow, if I don't know, the super volcanoes went off, human beings are the cockroaches of the planet. We're going to survive. And that's why it's stupid when people are, oh my God, the sea levels are going to rise 2 feet. People on the island of Abu Tango are going to be underwater. They will do what everybody does when shit like that. They will migrate somewhere else. We are going to be just fine. You need to worry more about the fucking that robot you got cleaning your floor. One day it's gonna come after you.
So I put one of the robots downstairs in the gym area. Mm-hmm. I need to bring the little sensor pods down to keep it in the gym area. I need a more rugged one. I need one that has a more aggressive.
What, like an off-road?
Yeah, more aggressive, like a garage one. You know. I saw, and I haven't looked into it any further, but I saw they have one that kind of like mops. That'd be perfect. It would get all those footprints off all those floor mats.
I think there's just too much shit in there. I don't see how a
because
robot.
The cars coming in and out.
No, oh, you're talking about just the big area of the garage. I thought you were talking about on your mats.
Just the mats.
I don't see how a robot would work in there.
It does.
Because you got so many click, so many things that it would hit.
It moves around. It actually senses. It doesn't even like push into it anymore. So before it gets to the obstacle, about 2 inches before, it slows down and pauses, and the brushes are still, it has brushes that come out in front and kick it all back into itself, and it sits there and runs, and then it goes zzz, 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 and then it moves about 5 degrees, and just it does the whole area over time. But I need one that just is a little more aggressive, because those rubber mats, they have like those little octagon dimples in them, and it doesn't quite get it. Really, I need Tyler on his hands and knees out there fucking Cinderella-ing that bitch up.
You'd have to tell him to do something else, though.
Don't clean these floors.
Do not clean these floors, Tyler.
In response to Skully talking about the power of the cell phone, I have a device in my pocket containing the sum of all human knowledge, and I use it to view pictures of cats and start arguments with strangers on the internet.
Yeah, that's the problem with having, you know, all human knowledge. How are we using it? We're not using it to better. We're not using it to better ourselves. I mean, shit. Just look at the college campuses and look at. I say that, and here's the problem. The problem is it's a very small percentage. We're allowing a small percentage of dimwits who are coming out of fucking college with a bachelor's degree in fucking women's study
and vagina hair weaving
to scream, and everybody looks and goes, oh, why is that person screaming. There must be a real problem. There's not a real problem. We really should be squashing those people. We really should be squashing them. They shouldn't be getting any news time. They shouldn't be getting any... They should just be squashed.
Well, when you say squash, we should really have a robot that comes out with a big mallet and literally squashes you.
Well, eventually there'll be a robot that'll be powered by...
Or just, like, plucks your head off.
It's coming. It's coming, but...
What was that? I don't know. Waiting for the soda moon pie noodle. Every time I hear that, I want noodles.
I do too.
I want like soba noodles or
I
something.
want to be back in Korea.
Noodle soup. I screwed up this order. I meant to get... Oh, this isn't supposed to be in here. We'll go into this one and then we'll... That's all yesterday's shit still. We're at 90 minutes right now. We'll do this one last. I ordered a medic combat cock to be sent to my wife while I was deployed a few years ago, and asked that you print and sent a poem. I wrote to her with it. You did. She loved and appreciated it, and never got around to telling you guys thanks. I'm ordering this pouch to be my new motorcycle toolkit pouch. Thanks for supporting and great products. And I never thought about this, but he ordered a zippered knife pouch. That would be a great fucking motorcycle toolkit.
It would actually for a small, just having small amount of tools.
You know what else would go good in there is that those CO2 tire patch kits.
Yeah.
Like the inflators that we use for mountain biking. That'd be great fucking on a mountain bike. We should take one of those and make it a little fucking bar bag or something a little bit bigger. Like everybody makes these bar bags and shit. But you can put so much shit on the fucking bars of your mountain bike, it'll fucking affect my suspension, right? So, and the tail bag, that's cool.
Bag, yeah.
But I don't, if I have that, I'll put a bunch of shit in it, right? Whereas if I just had something small on the bars, and then just had some straps that fucking held an extra tube. But I mean, most dudes aren't even running tubes. They're using fucking tubeless tires now.
Yeah.
So, all right, we'll do this one.
All right, kids. That's all for today. Get your shoe pouring while you can.
Before they about lot.